Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. Happy Sunday, everybody. October 22nd, we got week 7 on our schedule coming up in about an hour and a half. So we're going to go over all the actives, all the player news that you guys need to know. And of course, we'll answer any questions you guys have in the chat room. So good morning, guys. Come on in. We got our morning juice going here. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Good morning to Brian. Hope you're doing well. David says Kareem Hunt or Jeff Wilson or Craig Reynolds, full PPR, please and thank you. So the Jeff Wilson one, I'm excited about what Jeff Wilson can do in this offense, but we're still not quite sure what his workload will be. If the game was more of like, if this was last week's game and the Dolphins were 14-point favorites, I might lean with Jeff Wilson. But in this game here, I'm probably thinking Kareem Hunt is the guy that I trust. He started to eat into the workload last weekend for Jerome Ford. Colts defense, not exactly a scary defense here. So I think it's Kareem Hunt. It's really close. I would probably rank them as Hunt, Wilson, Craig, Reynolds. And then Brian saying he's 2-4, really need a win, been hit by injuries, got a tough matchup. Their whole team seemed to have all good matchups. Gibbs goes off for 32 touches. We'll see. I'm probably thinking Gibbs gets 15 to 20 touches, and you know, it's a good week for Jahmyr Gibbs to get his first career NFL touchdown. So hopefully that comes in here. I'm going to hit refresh on some of my player and actives, guys, and I'm going to read those, and then we'll get to some more questions. But I'm seeing Craig Reynolds officially active for the Lions. I'm seeing Kareem Hunt officially active. Deshaun Watson active as well. The Giants do not intend to trade Saquon Barkley. Was in my news blurbs here. And then if you guys are waiting for Christian McCaffrey, sounds like he's going to play. Adam Schefter's got a quote that says all signs point to Christian McCaffrey playing tomorrow night. Now, we can't expect McCaffrey to go out and get the ball 20, 25 times. I think he's going to be a little bit limited in his touches and his snaps. So you might still see, you know, Elijah Mitchell or Jordan Mason getting some run behind him. So McCaffrey, if you got him, I think you're playing him. We got Justin Fields expected to miss 2 to 3 weeks. Hunter Henry playing today, but we're not using him. Juju Smith-Schuster unlikely to play today. Aaron Jones intending to play. The Zach Charbonnet one's interesting. I think Kenneth Walker's one of the best running backs you can play today. And then the Rams running backs, guys, Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson expected to get majority of the workload. So we all got faked out by Zach Evans in this one. Chase says Evans or Foreman, full PPR as running back 2. I'm looking at the Chicago Bears snap counts from last weekend, and Deonta Foreman had 40 snaps to Darrington Evans' 24. So Foreman almost doubles them up there. Routes run, it's 12 for Deonta, 9 for Evans, so another win for Foreman. They each had a target, and then Deonta Foreman did get 15 carries to Evans' 9. So I'm going to lean with the usage here. I'm going to go with Deonta Foreman there. Brian says he needs a QB. Team has Geno. Is he good to buy low? Thinking about his Geno and Stevenson for Higgins and Addison. Let me set this up. Need a QB. Team has Geno. Is he good to buy low? Thinking about is Geno and Stevenson for Higgins and Addison. I'm not super excited about buying into low to Geno Smith. I've seen rumblings and rumors about Drew Lock potentially starting for the Seahawks at some point, so I'm not super interested in buying low in Geno. I would be curious who your he does have Mahomes, I'm seeing in your comment below. Geno and Ramondre, I think I would pump the brakes on that one. I wouldn't sell Higgins or Addison. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass on this trade there, Brian. Good evening, Jason, or good morning, Jason. It's usually evening when we talk, but good morning to Harris as well. Craig or Ingram? I'm not quite sure how much work Craig Reynolds is going to get with the healthy Jahmyr Gibbs. We did have one game where those two were the starters, and it was heavy Jahmyr Gibbs. So I'm thinking it's Keontae Ingram in this game here. Jason will go with Keontae Ingram against the Seahawks. Tyrod Taylor or Kenny Pickett? So this is a super flex question here. Am I crazy? I kind of like Tyrod Taylor today. I can't remember quite how well he did last weekend. But I do know that the Washington Commanders are one of the worst teams defending quarterbacks and wide receivers. So it's a good matchup. I'm seeing Tyrod Taylor did get 10 points last weekend, no touchdowns. Maybe the Giants finally score some touchdowns today. I kind of like Tyrod Taylor in this one. It is a tougher matchup. We have the Steelers traveling to the LA Rams. The Rams defense has actually been kind of decent lately. So I'm going to lean Tyrod Taylor here, but they're both, you're basically just trying to hit 10 to 12 points from this QB2. It is nice that Pickett gets Deontay Johnson back, but I'm gonna lean with Tyrod Taylor. Good morning, John. Hope you're doing well. Full PPR, Warren or Foreman. I'm gonna lean with Jaylen Warren in that one. Sure, Deonta Foreman could fall into the end zone and outscore him, but I think Warren's floor. Warren hasn't scored a touchdown all year, and he's still getting around 9 to 10 PPR points per game. So if it's a full PPR like you say here, I want to just plug in Warren. I'm gonna take my 8 to 12 points, and we'll move on. It said Kareem Hunt had a thigh, I believe it was. Let me double check. Yeah, he had a thigh, so maybe he just got a thigh bruise or something, but he's gonna be fine. Good morning to Christian, by the way. Michael Pittman or Mike Evans, full PPR. Harris, this one's pretty simple to me. I just, in questions like this, I'm just gonna avoid the Browns defense because it's pretty damn good. I know Gardner Minshew's probably gonna throw the ball 7 to 10 times at Michael Pittman Jr., but I like Mike Evans in this in this one. It's pretty easy for me to answer. And yeah, he's got Mahomes. Expectations from Pittman today, I'm forced to start him. So I just told Harris I like Mike Evans more today. I view I view Mike Pittman as more of like a fringe wide receiver 3 flex play. I think he can, get to 8 to 10 points in a full PPR format, but honestly, he's not a great play today. A lot of the rankings and things that I've been seeing don't have him ranked very highly, and actually I'm still looking around for his name here. Where is Pittman today? Yeah, I mean, he can be a wide receiver 2 if he gets the volume, but he's more of a wide receiver 3 today. So if he goes out and gets 5 for 40, 4 for 40, something like that, I still think he's going to hit 7 to 8 points as a floor, but we'll see if he can take advantage. The game's in Indianapolis too, so maybe they take advantage of the home field. Good morning to Ryan. Is it crazy to start Rondale Moore over Pittman, or just, yeah, you got to roll with Pittman. Yeah, we know Pittman's a good player. He's going to be the guy that gets targets. I'm going to follow the targets in that situation. Place on your props, hoping to hit. Would love Bijan to start getting. Yeah, I don't get why Bijan has yet to hit a rushing touchdown, but I did put a list of player props on the website for you guys. I'll read them off real quick, the ones I like. And then, again, these are just opinions and thoughts. I don't have anything that I really feel great about, but I do like a lot of these bets here. I'm taking Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown, Austin Eckler anytime touchdown, Mark Andrews anytime touchdown, and Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown. So those are the 4 TDs that I like the most. And then I put in 3 receiving or 3 yardage props here. Bijan Robinson over 25.5 receiving yards, Wan'Dale Robinson over 4.5 receptions, and then Gardner Minshew under 198 passing yards. And then there's a huge list of bets to consider there if you guys want to check out those props. Christian says Baker should be a good start considering Buccaneers will be forced to throw, right? I think Baker's fine. I mean, if you need him in a QB1 league, he's going to throw a touchdown today. He does, scramble for yards and things like that. So, 12 to 14 points for Baker doesn't seem too crazy. And then ultimately, if he does throw, if he throws 2 touchdowns, that's going to get him up into the 18s and the 20s. So I think he's a fine start. Now the Falcons defense has been actually playing okay this season. They've been kind of limiting opponents from putting up a lot of fantasy points here. So if I'm just looking real quick, the Falcons, they have a top 10 defense in allowing fantasy points. They allow tight ends to score, so maybe it's a Cade Otton day, but I'm seeing the Falcons allow about 15.81 points to the quarterback. So hey, like if you want 15 points from Baker, I think that sounds pretty doable today. Harris says Wan'Dale, JT, or Jerry Jeudy, full PPR. That one's a tough one. So I'm a pretty big Wan'Dale fan in full PPR. I think he's got a really nice floor. I think Wan'Dale's probably in there between, 10, 12 points today. But Jonathan Taylor probably takes over the backfield, I think, in this one. We saw him pretty much force a 50-50 split with Zach Moss last week. So I'm expecting Taylor to finally take the lead in the backfield here. So I'm going to rank them JT, Wan'Dale, Jerry, Jeudy. If you're still unsure on JT, I would go Wan'Dale over Jeudy. And yeah, Jeudy, it's a tough matchup for Jeudy. The Packers defense is actually one of the best teams against opponent wide receivers. They're also getting their first round pick from last year back, Eric Stokes. I'm not sure how much he plays, but Packers defense against wide receivers, they rank 6th best. They allow 27.66 points per game to the wide receivers. So I'm going to say JT, Wandale, Judy would be how I rank them. Christian Watson or Deontay Johnson. So I'm excited about Deontay today. I'm assuming he's going to be out there for his normal workload. That's a little bit of a risk factor as well because it's full PPR. I mean, I kind of like Christian Watson today. I think he can be a guy that can, blow the top off the defense with just one play. And he's coming off a bye and he's healthy. He's got he's had a lot of time to heal that hamstring. I think I'm going to go Christian Watson here, Ryan. He has the ceiling that I'm looking for. And the last 2 games, I mean, he caught a touchdown in the first game back. He had a decent couple big plays on Monday night against the Raiders. So I'm going to lean Watson. Jaylen Warren or Foreman, non-PPR. I'm playing DJ Moore. Yeah, so we're basically hunting touchdowns here, Harris. I'm starting Jaylen Warren in a non-PPR league today too. I'm hoping for 60 yards. If that sounds like a safe enough floor to you, I like that. Otherwise, let me pull this back up here. I was just moving to my other league. Let's see. I'm gonna lean Jaylen Warren just because I feel a little bit safer. And honestly, I'm not super excited about the Bears offense today, moving the football. We'll see. It's going to be a long day, I think, for the Bears offense. David says, Curtis Samuel or JSN over Pittman? I think I'm still going to lean with Pittman because if there is one guy to have a good game against the Browns, it would be Pittman. And just the nature of that game, they might be forced to throw the ball. So I'm leaning Pittman. If you're nervous about him, then I think you go with Curtis Samuel. And with Jackson Smith and the Jigba, it's unfortunate, but we're not gonna if DK Metcalf if they were to rule him inactive, then I would say play JSN. But we don't have that information yet. So I think I am waiting for Pittman. And do they play at noon? Is that the let me see if they play the Colts play the early game today. Yeah, so the Colts are the early game. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for we're gonna play Pittman. That's what we're gonna do, David. How are we feeling about flexing Dobbs? I don't hate Romeo Dobbs today. I think he's, like a fringe top 36 wide receiver. He might even be a top 36 wide receiver because the Broncos defense is just really, really bad. And I know Dobbs had a really bad game on Monday Night Football, but they've had a bye week to kind of correct and look at their tape and figure out what their offense is. And I think they need Romeo Dobbs. If they want to win this game, they're going to need Romeo Dobbs. So I'm cool with playing Dobbs. Harris says this trade got offered. Trade away Flowers, Barkley, and Raheem. You're going to get London, Pacheco, and James Cook. Flowers, Barkley, Raheem Mostert, London. No deal. No deal. I'm not trading away Raheem Mostert right now. If I have Raheem Mostert, when you have a guy that hot, I'm not really trying to sell him. And I know he's had an injury history and things like that right now, but the Dolphins offense is probably the hottest offense in the league right now. Raheem Mostert is playing really good football. I'm going to hold on to Zay, Saquon, and Raheem there. Curtis Samuel or JSN? I'm going to go Curtis Samuel there, David. Samuel's been playing good football lately. He feels like a top 36 wide receiver play to me. JSN, we did finally see him take a step forward last week, and he put up a decent 8 point whatever points, but I'm still going to play Curtis Samuel in a decent matchup against the Giants. Mayer worth holding over McLaughlin rest of season, PPR. That ultimately depends on your running back and your tight end depth. If you are never, ever going to start Jaleel, then I would say, yeah, I'm fine with keeping Michael Mayer. And if you're pretty weak at tight end, it makes more sense to kind of put him in your back pocket. So I think it's totally dependent on your roster build. Again, if you're never going to start McLaughlin, then I would say, sure, I'd hold the second tight end there. But I think Michael Mayer could be a guy that, continues to heat up over this week. He's got a great matchup going up against the Bears. So if he hits today, we're going to be talking about Mayer on the waiver wire. Start Reynolds or Henderson. So I got some really terrible running backs situations in my most important league today. And I'll probably ask you guys what you guys think I should do. But I think in this question, Craig Reynolds, you have a healthy Jahmyr Gibbs playing. I see Darrell Henderson coming in and getting the ball 7 to 10 touches. He had been their goal line back for the last 2 years as well. So I do think there's a chance that Henderson falls into the end zone in this game. I'm going to say Darrell Henderson is my play here. And then Pickens or Deontay. That one's tough. I think I'm going to go with Pickens just because I know he's healthy and he's going to play a full amount of snaps. I'm still unsure on Deontay if they ease him back in. I do think Deontay is good for 8 to 10 points, but I'm going to go with the big play Pickens. Pick up Deontay or Curtis Samuel in non-PPR. I'll pick up Deontay. Drew, what it do? Addison or Gabe Davis, full PPR. I think you got to go with Addison, man. I know it's a tough matchup on paper, but the 49ers actually allow wide receiver points in fantasy. So if I'm looking at this, the San Francisco 49ers, they rank 16th, so smack dab in the middle of the league. They are average against opponent wide receivers. They've actually allowed a lot of catches too. So they do allow PPR points to the wide receiver. Sure, I like Gabe Davis today against the Patriots, but you have a chance to start the wide receiver one for the Vikings. I think I'm going to take it. Harris says Aaron Jones or Jahmyr Gibbs, full PPR. Oh, man. Well, the good news is your team must be really good. If this is your question, I think it's really good. I think I'm going to lean the Broncos are so bad defensively. I think I got to lean with that. You have both guys coming off a hamstring injury, but man, I'm going to lean Aaron Jones here just because the matchups, the matchup's just a lot better going up against Denver versus going up against Baltimore. I think I'm going to take Aaron Jones. 3 favorite ATD today. Anytime touchdowns today. I had them up on the site there. Let me actually pull those up there, Dante. Player prop bets. All right. The top 3 that I put today, Josh Jacobs was minus 110 yesterday when I did this list. Austin Eckler was minus 130. So those, I know they're minus odds, but you can pretty much double up your money for free. And then I like Mark Andrews a lot today. He didn't really have a good game last weekend. Zay Flowers got the touchdown. The Lions are one of the worst teams against tight end, and this one's in Baltimore. So I like Mark Andrews to score if you want a little bit more of a, like a mid-range shot. And then Cooper Kupp is plus 100 to score, which is kind of baffling to me. So those are the top 4 that I picked on the touchdowns to consider. And then Kenneth Walker scoring a touchdown today. He's minus 195. So if you wanted to put some money on Kenneth Walker to score and pair him with, I don't know, a Travis Kelce touchdown, or, you parlay Walker with an Eckler, something like that, that should get you some decent numbers. So I like those touchdowns. Ryan says Musgrave or Njoku. I'm opportunistic on Njoku now that he's got Deshaun Watson back, but I think I'm going to lean Musgrave. The matchup for tight ends against the Broncos is really hard to ignore, and they're coming off a bye. I think the Packers offense looks okay today. Morning to Josiah. Pick 3, please. Amon-Ra, Devontae, Keenan, and Puka. Oh my goodness. I think you're going Amon-Ra, Devontae, and Keenan. If you wanted me to talk you into Puka over Devontae, I could do that because, it's Brian Hoyer, and Devontae's been pretty pissed off. But maybe he gets a lot of points and a lot of targets today. It's kind of an ugly game over there in Chicago. Raiders, Chicago Bears. So I think the top 2 for me, I'm definitely playing St. Brown. I'm definitely playing Keenan Allen. But if you wanted to play Puka over Devontae, that wouldn't bother me. I do think the Rams come out passing the ball a lot today, so I like Puka, but I'm probably going to go Devontae. David says Sam Howell or Matthew Stafford. So I like the matchups for both guys today. I'm going to lean with Sam Howell, though, because we've seen Sam Howell have some really nice fantasy days so far this year. He had one dud, at Buffalo, but his other 5 games have been pretty fantastic. It's the Giants defense, which we're not super scared of. He also has some rushing upside there. I like Sam Howell in this one. They're both fringe top 12 quarterbacks. So they're both good plays, but we really haven't seen Stafford throw for a lot of touchdowns this year. So I'm going to say Sam Howell. Elijah Moore or Curtis Samuel, full PPR. I'm going to go with we'll stick with Curtis Samuel. I'm going to ride the hot hand there. Josiah says full PPR. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I said. Amon-Ra, Keenan for sure. I'm going to lean Devontae, but if you wanted to play Puka, I think Puka's in for a good day too. Stash Latavius Murray, Darrell Henderson. Both great stashes, by the way. I actually picked up Darrell Henderson this morning, and I think I have to start him. So, we have with Kieran Williams on IR, we have 4 games coming up where we might see Darrell Henderson, Royce Freeman battle for the RB1 duty. So I think with Latavius, he still has James Cook to worry about. Whereas Henderson, he could take the job. So I think the better stash is Darrell Henderson right now there, David. How you feeling about Pitts this week? I also have McBride to play too. No, you got to play Pitts. Pitts is starting to look healthy, and he's starting to he stacked 2 good games in a row, which he rarely does. So I'm going to stick with Kyle Pitts. I do think with McBride, we're not quite there yet, ready to say he's a startable tight end. If we, how we look at the routes and the charts and things like that, if he comes out and has another good game where he is the clear tight end 1 over Zach Ertz, maybe next week we'll talk about Trey McBride being in our lineups. Nope, I'm going Pitts. Thoughts on JSN rest of season? I think we're excited about it. Well, you have DK Metcalf banged up with a knee and a hip injury already. Tyler Lockett popped up on the report with a hamstring injury. All it takes is one of those guys to miss a game, and we're probably ranking JSN as like a top 30 wide receiver. Like if one of those guys misses a game, I think JSN's kind of in the same tier as like a Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers. Like we're viewing him as like a startable asset. So I like that aspect. And hey, if he comes out today and puts in like if he goes 5 for 50 and a touchdown, something like that, we're going to start thinking about him as a starter. So I still don't want to start him, this weekend. But if he plays well, we're going to be talking about him going forward. So I think he's a guy that could help us get to the fantasy championship. Would you rather have Romeo or over Deontay, non-PPR? I'm going to lean Deontay because targets there, Harris. I expect Deontay to get his target share back. Maybe not this week, but next week. Gabe Davis or Pittman? Oh, man. Gabe's been playing well, but I'm going to lean with Pittman just because targets. That's usually my decision-making goes down to targets. And even if it's a bad matchup, you could still see 10 targets for Pittman in a bad matchup, whereas Gabe Davis, he's not getting no 10 targets. I know he can get a touchdown with his targets, but I'm going to lean with Pittman. Shaheed or Michael Thomas rest of season? It's Michael Thomas. Rashid Shaheed's fine, but Thomas is pretty consistent right now in PPR format, so we'll say that. Well, I'm not sure Belichick's going to be able to take away Diggs. I do want to look up here. I want to see Gabe Davis versus Patriots StatMuse. I just want to look this up real quick. So Gabe Davis in his career, the most yards he's had in a game against the Patriots is 39. He's never had more than 3 receptions, and he's only got 2 touchdowns in 5 games. I think you're gambling on a touchdown with Gabe Davis. I'm going to stick with Pittman. Do you think Rams defense should be considered good considering Steelers are allergic to moving the ball? I think the Rams are a safe play today. Kenny Pickett, has been known to turn over the ball in bunches at times. We don't like the Steelers run game at all. And I think the Rams are definitely in play today. It's a home game too, so I like that. And yeah, we're not expecting the Steelers to come out and light the offense up and score 3 touchdowns today. So I think the likely point outcome for the Steelers today is between 17, 20 points, something like that. Great question, Chase. Let's pull up the weather here. I know it's actually like a beautiful fall day up here in the Midwest. In Chicago today, it's 52 degrees and clear. Indianapolis is in a dome. The Patriots, they got 14-mile-per-hour winds there, but nothing too crazy here. They're calling for 17-mile-per-hour winds in New York Giants game. Tampa Bay's got a beautiful weather, 82 and almost no wind. The Ravens have the most wind today. They're calling for 19-mile-per-hour winds. Sunny and clear, though. The good news is no rain today, guys. So I'm seeing no rain. Only a couple games that has potential for high winds. So the high wind is in Baltimore. The high wind is in the New York Giants game. But overall, I'm not too concerned about the weather today, guys. Flowers or Drake? London, non-PPR. Interesting. I like the Drake London's been playing pretty well lately, and Desmond Ritter's had a good connection with him. This is probably going to come down, though, to who catches the touchdown. So I'm going to say Zay Flowers has a better chance of catching a touchdown. So Zach Evans is not an option today. They basically came out and already said it's going to be Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson getting the majority of the touches, and that Zach Evans is the backup to the backup, where you're playing Madison here, Josiah. I traded away Hawk for Jerome Ford and Godwin. Do you think it was a solid trade? I have Pitts, needed a running back. Yes, I mean, you have Kyle Pitts here. And if you guys have watched my stuff, you guys know I'm not a huge fan of tight end TJ Hawkinson. I think he's just an okay tight end that gets a lot of volume. So Kyle Pitts is the athletic tight end. He's been playing good for 2 weeks. Who knows? Maybe Kyle Pitts is the better tight end rest of season here. So you might have duped him. So you're getting a starter in Jerome Ford today, who I think is going to get, he's got a really good chance at a touchdown. That wouldn't surprise me if he falls into the end zone. So I like it. And then Godwin is a nice receiver stash. So I think it's a good trade there, Christian. You think Gainwell can have a decent game with a potential shootout versus Miami? Forced starter Gainwell. Probably not. Like, you're going to probably end up getting 3 or 4 points out of Gainwell. There is potential where he's the 2-minute back, in a couple drives. So you do have that. But for him to fall in the end zone this week, it's probably unlikely. Morning to Sport Dog. I was able to add off waivers yesterday. Musgrave and Tajay Spears. Hell yeah. Spears might replace Henry if they trade him, and Musgrave will be a fine TD. Yeah, I agree, man. Those are both solid pickups there, Sport Dog. This is a dynasty league, and I can see if I can put a waiver for Darrell Henderson and drop Gainwell. I think right now, like, Henderson has value for the next 3 or 4 games. As long as Kieran Williams is out, we're going to care about Royce Freeman and Darrell Henderson. After Kieran Williams returns and Ronnie Rivers returns, we might not care about Henderson. So I think long-term, Chase, I still would prefer Gainwell. Short-term, I'll take Henderson. Thank you, sir. Morning, Charlene. On the road to 7-0 today. I always have the 12th waiver wire. I have to plan in advance. Picked up Henderson. Hell yeah. Charlene's so good at fantasy football. Good luck to everybody as well. And then I have a question for you guys. But oh man, David, my man, I appreciate you. The website that I use to look that up, David, is called StatMuse. Basically on Google, if you type in Gabe Davis versus Patriots and add the word StatMuse to it, it's going to pull up his stats from every game that he's played against the Patriots. And I use StatMuse a lot just for anything. If I want to see how many interceptions a player's thrown against a team, things like that, it's really helpful to find out what teams have done in the past and against players and things like that. So StatMuse is a really good one if you guys want to check it out. And hey, I appreciate David so much. Thank you for the super chat. And then, guys, I have a question for you. In my biggest, most important fantasy league, I had David Montgomery. He's out. I have Dameon Pierce on bye. I have no other running backs. So my running backs choices this week, I have to start 2 of these guys. We're talking Antonio Gibson, Darrell Henderson, Elijah Mitchell, and Jordan Mason. I have 4 junk running backs, and I don't know who to play. I'm probably going to lose this week here, but it's not a fun weekend for me. So I'm probably playing Gibson and Henderson. I think Christian McCaffrey's back. I could gamble on one of the 49ers running backs, but probably not. So we'll see. But anyways, guys, if you guys got any more final questions, get them in there. Again, I appreciate the super chat there, David. Thank you so much for hanging out. And I'm having fun with you guys answering questions. The big question is, will Charlene hit 7-0? We do not know. If you guys are, I know, I can't remember who it was, but someone was looking for quarterbacks. If Kyler Murray's out there, could return week 9, most likely to return week 10. So we're still a few games back from this. But I think if you guys need a QB in a QB1 league, there you go. And yeah, I wish they would just rule CMC out. I mean, we're talking maybe outside of a quarterback, CMC is the most valuable player to a team. They have their bye week coming up in week 9. it would make sense to rest him this weekend and get him ready for week number 8. So it would make sense to bench him, but what are you going to do? Justin, good morning, sir. Hope you're doing fantastic. We're just getting all the final player news and inactives in here, but otherwise, I'm going to get out of here for you guys. If you guys do have any questions, I will be sitting in the Discord for the next hour or so if you guys want to answer or get anything answered. Super excited for today. We'll see what happens. There's some good games on today, guys. I think the Chargers-Chiefs game is a fantastic afternoon game. As far as the noon games today, I think Detroit-Baltimore is going to be a pretty good game. I think that one's going to be on TV for me. And then, yeah, LA, Kansas City. And then we get the nightcap, Miami, Philadelphia. I'm playing Mitchell and Henderson. So I actually, Harris, I think I agree. Like, I would rather play Elijah Mitchell over Jordan Mason. If you told me CMC was out, I'm playing Elijah Mitchell over Jordan Mason. Yep. And that's kind of where I'm at, Charlene, right now. I'm basically just praying for 12 fantasy points. It's going to be a long day for me, guys. I like Eli Mitchell. I agree, David. We like Eli. And that's the thing is, like, do I hold out? Do I skip my 5 Gibson touches, whatever he's going to get? Do I skip my Antonio Gibson touches and hold out for Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason potentially? I might do that. But Henderson and Gibson is what I'm at right now. Yeah, it makes it totally messy. Like either way, they're going to leave. They're not going to give Christian McCaffrey the full workload. So maybe I get 5 to 8 Elijah Mitchell touches. If that's what we're thinking, if Elijah Mitchell is the RB2 tomorrow night, maybe he does get 5 to 10 touches. I don't know. Maybe that's the play. I have a lot to think about, though. Yeah, Montgomery hurt. And CMC is trending towards playing, but those are just words. We don't really know that. He could go out tomorrow night and they could be like, what's the point? Yikes. Yeah. This is one of the worst bye weeks. Next week, though, there's no teams on bye. So everybody's playing. We just got to get through our injuries, and I'm sure we'll talk about some guys on the waiver wire next week. But Johnson, Pickens, Robinson. Is that Brian Robinson? Wan'Dale Robinson? I think that's Wan'Dale. Johnson's Pickens. I'm going to go with Wan'Dale, Justin. I'm going to go with Wan'Dale because I have a hard time picking between Deontay and Pickens. I think Wan'Dale is going to get 6-7 catches today. Take your full PPR points and hope for 15 points. And who knows, maybe he scores a touchdown today. We have Walker too. Oh, wow. Okay. Walker's the dude today. Might need to trade JJ for Bijan. If you can't get it done today, Chase, it might be time to do it. Yeah, we're going Wan'Dale here. I have also a suspicion today that Darius Slayton is going to have a good game today. I actually might pick up Darius Slayton today and start him in one of my leagues. But we'll see. But either way, guys, I'm going to get out of here. I got some lineups and some things to set and some calls to make. But you guys, good luck today. We'll see you on the Tuesday night live stream. Yeah, enjoy the football, guys. Peace.